What is up, guys? Welcome back to part 2 of the episode. In today's video we're going to be continuing working on our planters that we built in the previous episode, and we're going to actually tie them all together today into one solid unit. It'll help to level them out, and we're also going to be cutting on the back sides where the cucumbers are going to go to make sure they don't overlap on the middle planter, and we'll be using the cut-offs to actually use them for the strawberries to grow on. It'll give a nice aesthetic to the planters, and then also we're going to be inserting the plastic liners and then be drilling the holes as well to make sure the water drains out the bottom. You don't want the water to stay in the planters for too long. It'll tend to cause some rot in the vegetables. And then later in the episode I'll be showing you the new plants that we got for the channel. We did have a bit of a problem with the seedlings that we planted the first time. Some of them got damaged. We had a heat wave about a week and a half long. Temperatures up to about 35 degrees, so it was pretty hot, and it got so hot inside the greenhouses the plants started to wilt, and then some of them just would not recover. The other half we did rescue, and that was all fine. But we also managed to get some new plants from our local nursery, which we'll be planting as well. Stay tuned. Okay, there we can see we got them all joined together, and now it's time to cut those additional sections on the left hand side of those, what can I call them, the wall pieces where the plants are going to grow against. I'm just going to cut them a little bit shorter and see if we can work it from there. Otherwise we can try a way to maybe add the posts beside them, make it look a little bit different without having to cut the back sides. And then we're going to go ahead and also add the black plastic liners on the inside and then drill holes through them. It does look a bit weird, but once we start drilling the holes and filling it up with potting soil and all the sand and stuff, you won't really recognize the plastic underneath. It's actually just there to protect the wood a little bit better. Okay, perfect. So the next plan of action is going to be to see where the posts are lined on the front sides. We're going to be adding 6 posts in the front, and we're going to be placing 2 additional ones at the back, tying it down to the back sides, and then we'll build the roof off of that. It should be nice and steady as that side is against the wall, and yeah, the wind shouldn't really make a difference, and it'll give a nice place to fasten down the shade net we'll be adding later, and it'll also give some nice coverage to where we're going to be adding the irrigation system. So here we can see I had 3 arc planks lying around. I drilled 2 holes at the bottom side. I'm just going to drill them with a bigger bit halfway through, just to make sure that the screws don't stick out on the back side, and it pulls in nicely about till halfway into the wood. Great. After using the 4mm drill bit, we'll be moving on to the 8mm now, double the size. It's about the width of the screws that we'll be using, and it should fit nicely. So now we've got that deeper layer on the inside, and the screws are nicely hidden. It'll help with times that the screws don't get rust or weather damaged, and yes, it'll help to secure it nicely to the thinner wood on the other side of the planters. Okay, there we can see all the supports are up in the front. And now we're just going to add the two ones you can see lying in the middle there, add them to the back support, and then we can start working on the top planks, get them settled in. All our supporting posts are up, the ones in the rear and in the middle as well. Now we're going to go ahead, place some planks, just get an idea of what we're working with. There we go, planks all on top. Get a better idea. And we can use those top planks to support the shade net we're going to be using later. The shade nets over there, in the bundle in the garage, on top of our topsoil organic accelerator pallets. Not sure if it's going to be in this video or the next video, depends on how far we get today. Alright, let's get these guys fastened down and then start adding the plastic liners to the planters. There's a full view of the planters. So I used the top, cut out all the pieces that we needed, and I used the leftovers just to cover the sides, so we're going to be painting later. I'm going to be painting it the same color as the bottom. It's mahogany wood stain. There we go. All the planters are secured. Well, all the plastic is secured inside the planters. You can see we just fixed them inside with some push pins. I couldn't find proper thumbtacks. I went everywhere, I could not find any. So they're just going to be there in there temporarily. What we're going to do is when we start filling them with soil, we'll pull them up a little bit, fill it to the top where we want it, and then cut off the excess plastic. That'll make it look nice. I'm thinking about adding supports on the rear as well as I've done in the front, just to give it a little bit of extra rigidity, and it'll help us secure down the shade net later on. The rear end pieces are all secured on top as well. Have a look there. I did straighten out everything quite a bit. I don't know if the wood got a little bit of moisture inside. It started to go a bit skew. But we do have the piping for the irrigation right there. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to add it to the length of the planters at the back. It has a hose pipe adapter on the one end. So we'll add the hose pipe adapter either to the left or right, whichever way I'm going to put it outside, and put a plug on the end of the pipe, and then start drilling 4mm holes and get the sprinklers plugged in and get them mounted a little bit higher to increase the spray distance. So the sprinklers we're going to be using is composed of 3 parts, but these are the adapters I got for the hose we're going to be using for the garden. It's got a little hose pipe adapter on the one end. We're going to plug this on the one side and then put the stop on the other end and put our sprinklers in between. It's a very effective way to water the garden quickly. You switch it on for 7 minutes, then switch it off. So the sprinklers we got consist of 3 parts. You've got the spray tubing, sprinkler head, which has got a little clip at the bottom, and these two clip into each other, and then you've got a little plastic peg that you normally press into the ground. What we're going to be doing is mounting these on the rear posts, feeding down into the rear tubing, and then with our sprinkler head on top, it'll give us a nice coverage from the top spraying all the way down. Let's go ahead and start assembling one. Like I said, it's got clips on the one end here. Press them together and then give it a gentle twist. This one's not getting in there nicely. There we go, locked in nice and tight. And now for this part, you just press the little tubey on here, and there we go. We're going to be drilling a hole here and at the bottom, at the top and at the bottom, and then use that to secure it to the post at the back. And at the other end we have this little tubey insert here. You drill a 4mm hole and insert it into the main water feed. Alright, so moving on to our irrigation system. I did add the knob on the one end here, and then around the back side you can see we got the beautiful pipe running all the way, and I added the stop on this end. It's very simple, and now we're going to mount our sprinklers on these posts right over here. and right over there, till we get about 6 of them fitted in here. I'm thinking about doing two at the ends and then 4 in the back, and we'll see how it goes. We're going to be using a 4mm drill bit and drill a tiny hole inside the main line, and it plugs into the line, and let's pray it doesn't leak. Let's see. I went ahead and finished up all the piping in the back. So if you move around the sides, you'll see that I did put the sprinklers at different heights. I'm going to be planting different types of vegetables, so some need to be irrigated from the top, some from the bottom, and yeah, so they're different heights. Screw them to the sides with some drywall screws, and then at the back here you can see we drilled the 4mm hole and then plugged in the little plastic tube. It has a very snug fit, you have to press pretty hard to get it in, and there we go. So hopefully there's no leakages. If there is, we'll probably get some aqua sealer or something just to add it in there around the sides, just to secure it nicely. And now we're going to move on. I'm going to start removing all these labels and stickers from the wood that we bought, and then I'm going to sand it down lightly and add the wood sealer to it so we can get everything the same color. Alrighty guys, so there we go, all painted, everything. It's a little bit wet. I'm thinking about giving the bottom parts another coat, because I did do it about 2 weeks ago. This video has been in production for quite a while. There we can see all the top supports painted, bottom sorted out, all the sprinklers are mounted up, and then all the bottom planters, I secured them with some supports right over there, just because it's extremely heavy. So, and then all of that. So the next step would be to actually just add the shade net on top right over there, and then it should be sorted. I'm going to be getting zippers for the sides here, this side and the side over there, and when winter comes we can just zip it up, roll it down further and zip it up and close the sides as well. So here we can see I just roughly added the shade net on top. It's a double layer of shade net. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be folding it over around nicely, tying it back with some flat washers, making it look nice from the front, and then I'll give you guys another update.